Hi, TikTok. So, I'm an American living in Germany, and I'm asking you to stitch this. If you're an American living abroad, please tell me why you would never go back.
My top 10, here we go. Number 1, affordable healthcare. God forbid something happens, or just living. Everything is affordable, if not free. Number 2, violence. Gun violence in schools, worrying about my family's safety. 3, deeper relationships. It's not so much about what you do, more about who you are. Quality of life. People really prioritize enjoying their life here, not so much about just getting ahead. 5, education. My daughter's going to be 4 this year. I don't need to start worrying about college tuition. Food, the quality is better, so we feel better. The culture, my daughter's in a trilingual school, which is pretty standard here. Family values, as a mother of a daughter and a daughter on the way, there is no doubt the family values are stronger here. This is what I want for my family for sure. The consumer culture, it's really not the same. My kid will say, I have enough Barbies. Finally, the proximity to other cultures, countries, and traveling Europe.
Hey girly, so I decided to sit here and really think about that question. I really wanted to just meditate and ask myself, like, what is the reason? Like, I really had to delve deep in myself to find out the answer for this, right? And what I came up with is, hold on. All right, I went to go get a snack and some water, so just give me a second. So what I came up with is just the simple fact that I'm black, okay? I'm a black person. I'm a black woman. Yeah. Sorry to waste your time, but that's all I got.
That's an easy one. I live in the UK, so if I were to develop a medical condition that required constant care, or even an emergency situation where I needed immediate care, I wouldn't have to contemplate whether or not I could afford to take myself to the doctor, to the hospital. I could just go. And also, even though I'm never planning on having children, I don't have to worry about how much it's going to cost to buy them a bulletproof backpack.
I no longer have to budget for my health. When something's wrong with my body or I have a concern, I don't have to wait until I can afford it. I just go get it checked immediately. When the doctor says, hey, I'd like you to have these tests done, or hey, I would like you to go see this specialist, I no longer have to say, and how much will that cost? I don't have to do that. I would like to have a baby eventually, and when I do eventually give birth, that's not going to wreck me financially. In the US, it's anywhere between 8 to 11,000 to give birth, sometimes after your deductible. I mean, they're charging people to hold their own babies. Get out of here. In France, we do not live to work. We work to live. We have a 35-hour work week, and it's actually illegal for your boss to send you an email outside of working hours. My company gives me Ticket Resto, which is money that I can use every month for my meals or for my groceries, and it really adds up. I have 25 days vacation plus 11 RTT days, so that's 36 days total for time off, plus national holidays. And it is encouraged to take your vacation time. In fact, in the month of August, almost the whole country just fucks off to the south of France. Like, you will send an email to someone and your response will be, hey, out of office until September 1st, enjoy your summer. My cell phone bill is $15 a month and my Wi-Fi is $20 a month. Rent is so much cheaper here. I'm living in the dead center of Paris and I pay the same right now as I did for my apartment outside of Boston in Malden. Landlords cannot say no to you just because you have a cat or a dog. They're not allowed to. Why does nobody talk about that? That's fucking awesome. If you want to buy a home, interest rates are 1%. There's a program called CAF. It's for students. I never used it, but if you're a student, the government will give you money every month to help pay for your rent between like $400 and $600, which is really cool. The food is actual food and it's not filled with garbage. And as a result, there's not really an obesity pandemic here. There aren't really guns here, and we don't have school shootings or gang shootings. Because the drinking age is lower, most people start drinking at a young age, but like in a chill setting. So there's less alcohol-related deaths, and people don't drink to get wasted like we do in the US. Like, it's more civilized. I love being surrounded by people who are different than me. I'm learning new perspectives every single day, being humbled every single day, and it's just awesome to be in a completely different culture and actually surviving here. Plus, I can fly to other countries so easily and affordably, which is awesome. I couldn't do that in the US. I just love it here. I'm not going back.
There's a lot of reasons, but I'll just give the simplest one. I'm extremely happy and comfortable where I am here in Germany.
Hi, my name is Laura and I'm an American living in Germany, and there are a lot of reasons that I don't ever want to leave, but at the top of that list is safety. As a woman, I feel safe even if it's late at night and even if I'm by myself. Back in Texas, I always felt like I was more on edge, always looking behind my shoulder, making sure I knew all my surroundings, and here I just feel really safe. More importantly though, my husband feels safe here. I've talked about this before, but my husband is a black man, and being a black man in America, being a black person in America, or a person of color, period, in America, the weight of that can be heavy. We're not worried about him getting pulled over by the police and becoming another statistic. And of course, Germany has its own issues with racism, but the peace of mind that we have here, that he has here, is everything. Also, Glühwein beer and fresh bread.
Hi there. My answer is, why would I want to go back to a country where it's illegal to open a beer in a public place like a park, but it's legal to openly carry a gun? And in Germany, where I live now, the opposite is true. Why would I want to go back to a country that makes up only 4.5% of the Earth's population, but produces 17% of the Earth's garbage, and consumes 24% of the world's energy? And people like my family use plastic plates for Thanksgiving dinner. A country that has the knowledge, wealth, and resources to fight climate change, but it's a country where politicians bring snowballs into the Senate to prove that global warming is fake. The same Senate where only two political parties that hate each other have seats, even though they mostly just represent rich white people. And they have the audacity to call it the world's greatest deliberative body. A country where 30 to 40% of all food is wasted, while 38 million Americans suffer from food insecurity. A country with a homelessness problem and an eviction problem, but also with 17 million empty homes. A country where people got more offended at a man protesting police unaliving black people than getting offended at the unalivings themselves. A country whose prison population is about the same as the entire population of Botswana. A country that spends more on its military than all of these countries combined, and where people's taxes go to finance U.S. imperialism and drone strikes around the world. So they are quite literally blowing up their citizens' money while destroying people's homes and lives around the world. A country where people go into serious debt for years or decades just to finance their higher education, if they risk going at all. Whereas in Germany, the master's program that I'm doing now is free. A country where crippling debt is also caused by the healthcare system, and where 28 million people don't have health insurance. A country where millions of people watch Fox News, including my family. A country where after watching 4 years of this dumpster fire, 74 million people thought to themselves, including people in my family again, you know what? He deserves 4 more years. A country where tens of millions of indoctrinated Bible thumpers leave their tax-exempt churches on a mission to spread their fundamentalism and save souls by trying to scare or guilt trip you to Jesus. Whereas here in Germany, a German man once said to me, "Ja, in Germany there is no Jesus anymore." A country where more people believe in angels than in evolution. Country of self-proclaimed Jesus freaks that believe a lot of other crazy shit and yet still start the holy Christmas season with good old-fashioned Black Friday shopping and fatal trampling. And that happens exactly one day after being thankful for what they already have. A country whose citizens call it the greatest country in the world, even though they probably haven't been to another country, like many people in my family again. And if they have, and it wasn't just some bullshit booze cruise to the Bahamas, then it was probably a 1 week long rush from European capital to European capital as fast as possible because their employers don't give them nearly enough vacation days to have a proper vacation. So all of these social, political, cultural, and personal reasons break my spirit and infuriate me. So no, I don't want to go back to the land of the undereducated, over-medicated, under-vaccinated, over-incarcerated, capitalistically inundated, racially segregated, politically constipated, white male-dominated, religiously and nationalistically indoctrinated, and high-fructose corn syrup saturated. So I'm sorry, Brad, but I'm going to stay in Germany.
First off, hi, I'm also an American living in Germany. I don't know that I could say I would never go back. It's just so absolute, and I don't know how my life would change in a few years. But what I can say about why I've stayed in Germany as long as I have is because of these social benefits. I mean, the sick leave, the employees' rights, the renters' rights, the paternal and maternal leave, the good wages, infrastructure. I mean, the buses here, the U-Bahn, the S-Bahn, like the transportation is so reliable and so clean. And yeah, I mean, the recycling here is great. There's incentive. It's a lot of reasons.
Let me count the ways. I'll go ahead and start with this. In 2021 in the US, there are at least 149 incidents of gunfire on school grounds, resulting in 32 deaths and 94 injuries nationally. In Costa Rica, there were 0. Because here in Costa Rica, we love people more than guns. And overall, the Costa Rican people want to take care of one another. So although there's a small subset of people that argue over things like masks and vaccine mandates, it's not the norm to argue over things like that. Public safety is super important here in Costa Rica. And speaking of taking care of one another, healthcare is a right here. It's not a privilege. And if you want to choose to get private health insurance, it isn't completely unaffordable. And I don't want my child to think that the US is the only country in the world like people from the US usually do.